Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Teen Book Babble. I'm Randy, and today I'm going to start us off talking about The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. This is a new book that just came out this year. It is a fantasy novel. It's a retelling of a classic Korean legend, The Tale of Shimchong. It's a standalone book, and I really enjoyed it. So let me tell you a little bit about the book. So in The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, for 100 years, deadly storms have plagued Mina's homeland. So it's been cursed by the sea god who was once their protector. And every year, to appease the sea god, a beautiful maiden is sacrificed as the sea god's bride. So she's thrown beneath the sea to become the sea god's bride. This year's sacrifice, Shimchong, is beloved by Mina's brother Jun. And to save her brother and her family, Mina decides to take Shimchong's place, offering herself to the mighty sea god's dragon as the new bride. So this is the beginning of Mina's journey to the spirit realm, where she meets a sleeping and cursed sea god, his noble protector Shin, Lord Shin, and a whole cast of gods and goddesses, demons and spirits. Mina is determined to wake the sleeping sea god and break the 100-year curse to save her family and the world above. So I am a huge Korean drama and music fan, and I was definitely interested in this book when I first heard about it. Of course, because it's, like I said, a retelling of a Korean legend, but also because of the cover. It has this girl on the cover wearing a beautiful hanbok, of course, but there's also kind of this faint, boy right above her as well. And there's all these, traditional sort of elements and the sea and just this sort of gorgeous cover here for The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. Definitely, the author does a great job of building Mina's world. Of course, there's the world above that's being ravaged by all of these deadly, natural disasters and the storms. But then as Mina travels to the spirit world, there's this whole fantastical world below, with, festivals and all these, great temples and shrines, and it's just a lovely world that she's created. There are some great characters in here, of course. Mina, she's definitely this sort of strong character who's determined to rescue and save her family. Of course, she loves her brother Jun so much, and he is in love with Shimchong, and he sneaks aboard the boat where Shimchong is about to be sacrificed, and that is sort of a death sentence. And so to save her brother, she sort of decides to take Shimchong's place and become the sea god's bride. And so she's this great character. And as she sort of travels through the spirit realm, she's determined to sort of figure out what really happened to the sea god and why he sort of abandoned his people up above. She's also helped by, Lord Shin and some of his protectors as well. She meets some spirits who are helping her along her journey. There's Mask and Dai and Mickey. There's all these mythical creatures, like the dragon and the imugi, who are these sort of vicious, sort of snake, almost dragon-like creatures who believe that if they fight in 1,000 battles, they'll be able to become a dragon themselves. So just great, world building and fascinating characters as well. This definitely felt like it could be a Korean historical drama, a fantasy drama. So I loved that sort of feel of the book. And of course, there is romantic elements as well. There's this whole idea of, the true bride, the sea god's true bride can break the curse. And there's this whole element of the red string of fate and will Mina have the red string of fate with the sea god? And if she does, she is the true bride and can break the curse. And is she really the true bride? And so there's sort of these mysterious elements come into play as Mina tries to figure out what is going on. So I highly recommend this book. I really enjoyed it. I listened to it as an e-audiobook on Hoopla. So we have it obviously in print at our library, so you can check that out. It is available as an ebook on Cloud Library and as an e-audiobook on Cloud Library and Hoopla. So I would highly recommend checking it out.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Book Babble. My name is Kelsey, and today I'm talking to you about Gilded by Marissa Meyer. Marissa Meyer is the author of one of my favorite series, The Lunar Chronicles, so you may be familiar with her already. And with Gilded, her newest book, she is actually going back to her roots and doing another fairy tale retelling. This time it is high fantasy though, instead of sci-fi. And oh my gosh, did I love it. It's probably one of my favorite books that I've read in quite a while, and I can't wait for the sequel, but we'll get back to that. So Gilded is a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, and our main character is, of course, the miller's daughter from the tale, Cerilda. Now, Cerilda has a bit of an interesting story behind her birth. 19 years ago, there is a festival called the Endless Moon, where all of the gods were forced into their bestial shape, and the Wild Hunt, led by the Earl King, who is a sort of dark, fey, demonic creature, leads his hunt to try and hunt the gods and get a wish from whichever one he captures. Now, one of the gods was injured but still managed to get away and was found and helped by Cerilda's father. And so in return, this god said that he would give him a gift. He said, well, there's this girl in the village. I really, really like her. I would love us to get married and have a healthy, happy child together. And so this wish was granted. However, what he did not know is that the god that he saved was the god Weirdith, who is the god of liars, tricksters, storytellers, and the wheel of fortune and fate. So when their daughter Cerilda was born, she was born with golden wheels in her eyes. So she has been marked by the god Weirdith, which has made people reluctant to trust her. And she herself is very, very fond of a good tale. I, of course, love storyteller characters, so I was taken with Cerilda absolutely immediately. Cerilda works as a teacher's assistant in her village, and she absolutely loves the kids she helps, as they're some of the few people that don't judge her for her strange eyes and her association with the god of lies and fortune. And one day, Cerilda, it is the night of the full moon, and every full moon, the Wild Hunt comes out. They don't always hunt gods. That only happens on Endless Moon, which is every 2 decades or so. But each full moon, they will go out for a hunt. And this particular full moon, she finds 2 moss maidens, which are like these fey dryad type creatures that are trying to escape from the Earl King's hunt. And so she hides them and gets caught out herself. And in the moment, she comes up with a ridiculous lie. You see, the Earl King sees the wheels in her eyes and assumes that they are golden spinning wheels and that she is blessed by the goddess Hulda. She runs with this and says that the reason that she is out in the middle of the night on the full moon is that she is harvesting straw to spin into gold, because the moonlight makes the straw easier to work with, so it's the best time to harvest gold. Harvest straw for gold, that is. And he briefly believes it. However, this does not last, as the very next full moon, he summons her to his palace to prove that she's telling the truth. And of course, this is where things get interesting. I absolutely love the world building here in Gilded. I love their sort of pantheon and this idea of Endless Moon, and I love Weirdith as a god. Seems really, really fun. I just love that name too, for like a liar god and a storyteller god and a god of fortune. Weirdith, just, it sounds really, really cool. I love it. Like, 10 points for naming conventions. I also absolutely love pretty much all of the characters from Cerilda, who is, of course, our Miller's daughter, to Gild, who's our Rumpelstiltskin figure. Even the Earl King is a really cool villain, and all of Cerilda's little students at her school are awesome and adorable and very, very, very fun characters. I was absolutely obsessed with this book, and I am so excited for the sequel to come out. There is a cliffhanger, so if you can't wait for those, maybe you'll want to wait for Cursed to come out. But if you're like me and you're just so excited to read the newest Marissa Meyer, like, totally understand. I wasn't able to wait either. So you can come and check out the book here, either this one or you can check it out on Audio Playaway. It's also available through our Libby app, both the ebook and e-audiobook for your listening pleasure. And hopefully you will enjoy it just as much as I did.
Well, that's all we have for today. We hope you have enjoyed hearing about these books. If you do decide to pick them up, stop by the Vortex and come talk to us about them. Tell us what you enjoyed about the books. We'd love to hear from you. We're also happy to give you some more recommendations about some of the other books that we've most recently read. So come on down to the Vortex and let's talk about books. If you also want more recommendations, visit our website at fountaindale.org/teenreads to view some of the book lists we've created just for you. We'll see you next time.